Have you ever noticed this strange pattern? Someone gets a raise, switches to a better job, starts earning more than ever before. And somehow, a year later, they feel more stressed about money than they did before. Not because they failed, not because they're irresponsible, but because higher income quietly changed the rules of their life. Relatable scenario: USA, Europe lifestyle. Let's take a very common situation in the US or Europe. Imagine someone earning $60,000 a year. After taxes, they take home roughly $3,700 a month. They live in a modest apartment. They drive a paid-off or inexpensive car. They save a little, worry a little, but life feels manageable. Now they get a promotion. Their salary jumps to $90,000. On paper, this should change everything. After tax, they now take home about $5,200 a month. That's an extra $1,500 every single month. But here's what usually happens next. Lifestyle expansion begins. The apartment feels temporary now. They upgrade to a better neighborhood. Rent goes from $1,200 to $2,000. The old car feels out of place in the new parking lot. They lease something nicer. $450 a month. They start traveling a bit more, eating out more often, upgrading subscriptions, buying quality things instead of cheap ones. Nothing feels reckless. Everything feels reasonable. And slowly, that extra $1,500 disappears. Hidden financial mistake explained. The mistake isn't spending more. It's locking higher income into fixed monthly obligations. Rent, car payments, minimum credit card payments, student loan repayments adjusted upward. These aren't flexible expenses. They don't care if you have a bad month. They don't pause when life gets uncertain. So now, even with a higher salary, your required monthly survival cost is much higher. Simple math. Reality check. Before the raise, monthly fixed costs might have been $2,200. After the raise, they quietly become $3,800. So even though income increased by $1,500, your breathing room barely changed. In some cases, it actually shrinks. Because higher income lifestyles are more fragile. Psychology behind the behavior. This happens because humans don't adapt to income logically. We adapt socially. We compare ourselves to coworkers. We internalize what our new income should look like. We confuse comfort with safety. There's also a powerful psychological effect. When income goes up, spending feels earned, not optional. I worked hard for this. I deserve a better life. And that's not wrong, but it's incomplete thinking. Long-term impact if ignored. Over time, this creates a dangerous pattern. You earn more, but save the same percentage, or less. Your stress stays constant. Job loss becomes scarier, not safer. And walking away from a bad job becomes harder, because your lifestyle depends on it. That's how people making six figures end up living paycheck to paycheck. Not because they're bad with money, but because income growth outpaced financial awareness. Perspective shift. How financially intelligent people think. Financially intelligent people don't ask, "Can I afford this now?" They ask, "What does this commit my future self to?" They treat raises as optional leverage, not mandatory upgrades. Instead of locking money into monthly payments, they keep flexibility. They understand that real financial strength isn't visible. It's quiet, it's boring, and it shows up when something goes wrong, and nothing breaks. Calm conclusion plus soft CTA. A higher salary isn't dangerous. But unexamined lifestyle growth is. If earning more hasn't made life feel easier, that's not a personal failure. It's a system most people never stop to question. If this perspective helped you see money a little more clearly, consider subscribing to the channel. Not for motivation, just for calmer, more honest thinking about money. Most people don't say this out loud, but they think it almost every month. You look at your income. It's higher than it was a few years ago. Higher than your parents earned at your age. And yet, there's this quiet feeling that money is always just slightly out of reach. Not broke, not struggling, just tight. That feeling isn't random, and it isn't because you're bad with money. Let's talk about why. Imagine a fairly normal situation. You're in your late 20s or early 30s. You live in the US, the UK, or somewhere in Western Europe. You have a stable job, maybe even a decent career path. Your salary is around $70,000 a year. After taxes, healthcare, and social contributions, you're taking home roughly $4,200 a month. On paper, that should feel comfortable. But then reality starts subtracting. Your rent or mortgage is about $1,500. Utilities, internet, phone, another $250. You have a car, not a luxury one, just reliable. That payment, insurance, fuel, and maintenance add up to around $600. You're now at $2,350 gone. Then there's debt, student loans, credit cards, maybe a personal loan you took during a temporary phase of life. That's another $400. Groceries, eating out, subscriptions, clothes, small upgrades that feel reasonable, another $800. Without anything dramatic happening, you're left with about $650. And that's before travel, emergencies, gifts, or long-term saving. So the question becomes clear. Where did the money go? The mistake isn't overspending in the way people imagine it. It's not wild shopping sprees. It's not irresponsibility. It's something quieter. As income rises, expenses don't just increase, they rearrange themselves to feel necessary. The apartment feels reasonable because everyone else has one like it. The car feels justified because public transport is inconvenient. The subscriptions feel small because they're only $15 each. Nothing feels excessive in isolation. But together, they form a lifestyle that absorbs almost everything you earn. This is where basic math quietly turns against you. If your income goes up by $1,000 a month, but your fixed lifestyle costs rise by $800, you didn't actually become wealthier. You just became more fragile. One job change, one health issue, one economic slowdown, and suddenly that good salary doesn't feel so safe anymore. The psychology behind this is uncomfortable, but human. We don't measure money by numbers. We measure it by normalcy. If everyone around you is upgrading, staying the same feels like falling behind. If your peers are financing cars and homes, opting out feels like failure, even when it's not. So people don't chase wealth. They chase not feeling left out. And modern financial systems are built around this. Monthly payments soften the pain. Credit spreads the cost. And lifestyle inflation quietly locks in your future income before you ever see it. If this pattern continues for 10 or 20 years, the impact isn't dramatic, it's slow. You earn well, but build little flexibility. Your savings grow, but not enough to change your choices. Work becomes mandatory instead of optional. Not because you failed, but because your income was optimized for comfort, not freedom. Financially intelligent people don't think in terms of, can I afford this monthly? They think in terms of what this expense permanently removes from their future. They're not extreme. They're not cheap. They're just aware that wealth isn't about earning more. It's about how much of your income remains unclaimed by your lifestyle. That awareness alone changes decisions. If money feels tight despite earning well, it's not a personal flaw. It's a signal, and noticing it early is one of the most valuable financial skills you can develop. If this perspective helped you think more clearly about money, consider liking the video or subscribing for more calm, honest discussions like this.